Hey, my name is Logan Greil, and for my scenario project, I have researched what time of day and what lures should be used to catch different types of fish found in Clarion River. First, a few fun facts about the Clarion River. Well, big surprise, the river is located in Clarion, PA, but it wasn't always known as Clarion River. Prior to 1817, it was more commonly known as Tobacco Creek, meaning the stream that flows from a large spring. For anyone who doesn't know this already, fishing is an activity you perform in order to catch fish for your own pleasure, sport, or food. When you go fishing, you should first know that this takes a lot of time, skill, and patience. I wish I could say it was simple, but it's not. I only have a short amount of time to teach you, so I picked some of my favorite fish from Clarion River and the lures I choose in order to hunt them. So sit back, grab a notebook, and take some notes. First up, we have the smallmouth bass, and like most bass, they travel around structures in the water, like fallen logs or rocks. When hunting, they mostly use their eyesight, which means you'll usually catch them most during days when the water is clear. If the water is foggy, it will decrease the fish's reactivity, which means it will decrease the catch rate. The average weight of the fish is around 6.5 pounds, but it can grow up to be 12. The bigger the fish, the older it is usually. They are most aggressive towards moving baits around the springtime, so that is when it is best to use lures. When fishing for smallmouth bass, I like to use a size 2 hook. This type of fish, as said in the name, has a small mouth, so it would be more difficult to use a larger hook size. If using lures, I would recommend spinner baits, jigs, plastic worms, or topwater lures. My favorite lure is the spinner bait, and that's what you're looking at right now. Next up, we have the walleye fish. They are a very common freshwater game fish and one of the biggest members of the perch family. The walleyes are most commonly known for their long mouths that they have and the razor-sharp teeth. Walleyes are sensitive to light, and they get their name because of a special pigment layer in their eyes that reflect the sunlight. Having this unique feature helps them to see fish more clearly in the dark and murky water. Due to the sensitivity they have in the sunlight, the best time of day to fish for them is at night after the sun goes down, because they will swim closer to the shallow water to feed. To catch a walleye and have the most luck, you should fish for them during springtime before or after breeding season. Breeding season will usually happen around the month of April when the water reaches close to 40 to 55 degrees Fahrenheit. The most common lures used to catch walleye are jigs and crankbaits. Shown on the image is one of the most common crankbaits used to catch a walleye. Now we have one of my favorites, the muskellunge, more commonly referred to as the muskie. The muskie has a very intense swimming speed and can measure anywhere from 22 to 50 inches long. You'll most likely find muskies in lakes or large rivers. They prefer shallow water with rocky bottoms. When fishing for a muskie, you want to use a lure that can easily be removed from its mouth. Some good options for catching this large fish are barbless hooks, but the most common choice of many fishermen are lures such as bucktails and crankbaits. They seem to work the best. When casting out, you'll want to get as close to the shore and weed beds as possible. If you catch a muskie, you should make sure you know the proper way to handle this fish because they have needle-like sharp teeth. You're looking at one of my favorite lure choices for catching muskie, which is a bucktail lure. Now we will move on to the northern pike. This fish gets its name from its pole-like weapon nose. This fish can be found in fresh water all throughout the northern hemisphere. This northern pike will often be mistaken for a muskie because of its similar long body and very sharp teeth. Pikes need to consume a lot of food daily. They will eat smaller fish and frogs. They can lie still, watching their prey for up to 10 minutes before striking. Fishermen enjoy the thrill of trying to catch a pike because they will fight while you try to reel them in. They also taste great. You want to use a lure that can easily be removed from its mouth and also be educated on how to remove them because they're needle-like teeth. A great time to fish for northern pike is during daylight hours. Northern pike absolutely love spinners, bucktails like the muskie and meeps. When I go on the hunt for northern pike, my top pick is the Rapala X-Rap, as shown on the screen. Lastly is the brook trout. They are members of the char family. They prefer to swim in spring-fed streams or ponds with gravel near the bottom. They will thrive in waters with low temperatures below 68 degrees. This is ideal for them because they have high oxygen intake. When attempting to catch a brook trout, the best bait would include earthworms, mayflies, grasshoppers, minnows, and larvae. The best time of day to catch the trout is early morning or near dusk. Catching upstream and usually using a rod you are comfortable with will make the process easier. As your fishing skills improve, the most common rod used to catch a brook trout is a fly rod. Some of the best and most popular lures for catching these aggressive fish are meeps, rapalas, and rooster tails. The rooster tail is what I like to use when trying to catch these tricky fish. Thanks for watching!